Welcome, welcome, welcome all. How you doing? My name is C.Truth, host of Thermal Soundwaves and Indie Review, and today we're doing a special coverage talking to a filmmaker who's going to be in the Conchel International Film Festival going down this year, New York City, Forest Hills, Queens, live in the flesh. No screens unless you're watching a particular selection that we have there. But other than that, it's going to be people live in the flesh. You could talk to filmmakers, you could network, socialize, all of that. For more information, you see it right there on the screen, ConchellIFF.com. All right, that's where you go to find out more. In the meantime, between time, we're going to talk to a brother who's going to be part of that this year. He goes by the name of Mr. Livingston Steele. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what part of the world are you representing?
Right, well, part of the world. I'm Jamaican, but my story is actually a Haitian story.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm Jamaican. We're from Newark, New Jersey. Well, I'm born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, and the story that we submitted, called "The Theory of Josue," follows a Haitian American after his father passes away, but a Haitian American musician who now has to choose between what success looks to him or taking care of his family.
Absolutely. Before we get into that and why a Jamaican would do a story on a Haitian individual, what led you into this whole world of entertainment?
So I started off in music first. Like, I went to music high school. I was an instrumentalist. I was always like wanting to get into like music and arts development. So like music and arts was always the foundation of like my youth. And I went to school, like college afterwards, to do more music industry work and learn more about the music industry and how to work with artists and artist development. As I was doing that, I learned and seen that as you're doing artist development, video became more important over the years as you're going into social media when it comes to awareness and attraction and marketing. So like I thought like the best way to help market artists or help them is to create video, and that's what led me into like video and working in that aspect of things.
Gotcha. And is this your first film, or did you make other particular pieces before this?
So technically, this film is part of an anthology series that we created called The Theory of Brick City Music. The Theory of Josue is like the first installment of this series as an anthology film, where we made a pilot series explaining the whole concept in 2018, 2019. That pilot series led us to be able to raise around $10,000, which led us to be able to do this short film version. And what we were trying to do with The Theory of Brick City Music, it showcases different creatives and entrepreneurs from the city of Newark as they thrive to be their best selves in a changing city and changing world.
Absolutely. And Newark today, which is different than Newark years ago, for those that know, it's a lot different, although there are still some things that are the same and a lot of changes still happening within Newark, New Jersey itself. Speak upon some of that. Like, what are some of the things that are going on in Newark today that may have influenced you to do some of the things that you're doing right now, or tell some of the stories that you're telling at this particular point?
So because I went to like a performing arts high school, like majority of my friends have grown to be professional. So I've always been in between. Even though I was a musician, I have friends that are actors, models, directors, vocalists, visual artists. So you get to see the different worlds and how it transcends from a professional level, and from the outside what can look great to the inside that doesn't look great, and like how it changes depending on where you are in the world. So like Newark, as it's been changing and becoming more of a creative hub, it's always been a creative hub, but now with more eyes onto the city, and I guess more expansion on people coming here, but with its proximity to New York, it's starting to grow a big artist hub in the sense of like music, like sense of film, in a sense of like visual art, and then just an expansion on that. So seeing and working with artists, as I said before, I was working in more so music, and which led me to work with a singer saxophonist who's Haitian. Originally, when we created the concept, it was to showcase the music that he was making. But as we were going into film and transcending from music into film and learning how film tells stories and how film can affect people by the story that you're telling, and like it's showing a world that people may not be aware to, it led us to make a more dramatic version, which this short film version is a more dramatic version that's more telling of the times and like how artists particularly immigrants or artists who are born from immigrants, now first generation Americans, and how they're transcending, and the different types of traditions and trajectories and like ways things are looked at, coming from a parent from a Caribbean background, now being either an artist or someone who's an entrepreneur trying to thrive in this setting in the city of Newark.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could mute that, or
sorry about that.
Yes, thank you. How long did it take you to put this all together, and explain to people what are all the different working mechanisms there are to doing a film, whether it be a short film or not? Like, it's a lot to put together a film.
A lot to put together a film. So putting something like this together, not only getting like people to shoot, or directors or photographers, but actually being able to create the set and create the story from behind the scenes and into the script, like getting like casting and crew, like actually finding, like in this particular story, they do speak Creole a lot. So finding actors that can speak Creole with that matches the age range and understanding the nuance within the story was already like trouble within itself. And then finding, like, we also create original scores for our music, Theory Brixton music. So with the singer saxophonist, who's the main character in this particular story, a lot of it mix and tells from the challenges he may have faced in his life and his community has faced, which influenced this particular film. But at the same token, the creation of it is also creating the music that helps tells the story, finding the cast and crew, being able to find a production crew that not only understands, but also a lot of them were also Haitian. Because since I'm not Haitian, I surrounded the crew with more of Haitian influence to make sure the story was still like influenced in the right way.
Right. I was going to ask you that, like, how much of Haitian culture do you actually know or are familiar with?
So like the main character who played the character was Haitian. The mother who was in the story, who played his mother, was of Haitian descent. Like the producer, our producer is Haitian. The person who also did like set design and wardrobe, she comes from Haitian descent. So I kind of surrounded myself with that, and then like different families to have different discussions on certain things, to make it as authentic as possible towards that culture.
Gotcha.
And me learning about a whole nother culture because I'm telling this type of story. And in Newark, there's a huge just Caribbean culture within itself. So this was like the first start of it, me talking about the Haitian culture as I'm doing more research. But like, because it's an anthology series and we putting out anthology film types, short films, that doesn't mean it stops here. That means I can continuously go and tell other stories that's adjacent and within the world of the community of the theory of Brixton music in the city of Newark, within the artist community.
Right. And from doing this project, what did you learn yourself personally, either just about anything in general, and then in particular about filmmaking?
Oh man. So doing this particular project, as it's been an ongoing like series, and being able to try to be consistent with it and create different aspects, I've learned so much about different types of like just people and the struggles that they have to do to get to where they want to get to, whether it's be a creative, whether it's an artist, whether it's an entrepreneur. I kind of see them all now as one and the same: an entrepreneur, a filmmaker, a musician. It's literally the same struggle, but it's nuanced to each craft and each way professionalism is set up. So like, we talk about it. We always see the end result when we're watching on television, like the end result of being on a major label, but we never talk about like what it's like to be in an indie label or an indie artist and what that looks like from day to day. Because of now, things are becoming more relevant towards independent, just filmmaking, independent musicianship, entrepreneurship. What does that really look like? And I think there's like a fabricated or more glamorized way of looking at it. And like this story, in a way, humorously dives into the different crafts and the different ways that artists have to do to thrive. And when I say artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, businesses, people of that nature. So what I've learned so much is like the different stories that come out of this from just working, even if you're not a filmmaker, and how important it is to tell these types of stories, because a filmmaker may relate to this particular story, even though he's a musician. And even though he's not a musician, he may relate to like that struggle of I have to take care of my parent while also trying to do this hardship of something that's already hard by yourself. They may have a family, they may have taken, they may have kids. So it's a relative story to different types of demographics. And I'm thinking because of the nuance of him being Haitian, more so to the Caribbean diaspora.
Right. What are some of the other areas or some other things that you're looking to dive into going forward in the future that you haven't tackled yet?
So this particular story tackled homelessness because how homelessness was so close to a lot of artists. Like when we talk about homelessness, we tend to think about the unsheltered, but we don't think that we're all like one paycheck away from being homeless, particularly this time of inflation and this time after COVID. So like we tackle in how quickly that can potentially happen for us, but other stories like not just homelessness, but like individuality when it comes to being in the workplace and what does that look like, being Black or being Caribbean in the workplace and trying to do multiple things, and what does that look like, and how does your family portray to that, different views on what is success looks like when it comes to African Americans, when it comes to Caribbean Americans, when it comes to minorities as a whole, but also in an aspect of classism within its own entity and then outside. Because as cities like Newark and major cities start to grow with aspects of gentrification and expansion, you start to have these types of conversations, start to see these types of things, and these types of, whether it's disparities or it's favoritism in certain aspects of things when it comes to success. What does that look like from different demographics and different types of people?
Exactly, definitely. And I know in Newark there's a studio that's there now. That's, I forget the name of it, but that doesn't matter. But I know there's a studio there somewhere in Newark that's particularly for films and filmmaking and things of that nature. And I don't know how much of a hand they're putting out as far as into the people that live in Newark for that particular space or what have you, but I think it goes towards to what you're saying, what you're speaking about, as far as gentrification, who benefits and who does not, and so forth. Tell everybody where they could find out more about what you're doing, your social medias and so forth.
You can find more about The Theory of Brick City Music as a series at thetheoryofbrickcitymusic.com, everywhere on Instagram and Facebook, The Theory of Brick City Music. And you can find more about our particular film here. And thankful for Conch Shell International Film Festival for having us. The Theory of Josue, you can find more of that on anything The Theory of Brick City Music. Definitely follow us on YouTube as well, as you can see the pilot series with Josue, and we'll be releasing the trailer soon as we lead up to the festival's release.
Absolutely. And one last thing, somebody that has a Caribbean background, how does your family, or how has your family been supportive or maybe not supportive towards what you're doing? Because, a common theme amongst Caribbean family and parents and so forth is they want you to be more of doctors and lawyers and things of that nature. So how has your parents reacted to what it is that you're doing with film?
So that's something like we touched on too. And when it came to like my family, because I was always in the arts, they were always supportive. But it was, as I tell people, as you start to either make money or showing like the vastness of it, like when we start making awards or people are really starting to pay attention, or we're in the newspaper, it's a little bit more like tangible for our parents. Like if you're like a filmmaker and you come up with, I have $10,000, and they're like, wait, who just gave you $10,000? It starts to like click, like, oh, you're not just doing stuff to do stuff. This is a career that you can potentially make. And we always make sure, like my parents supported me as I went from music to film to both, and like transitioning it, because it was never just about, oh, I just wanted to do it. Although it's a passion of mine, I'm finding different ways to make it not only benefit financially for myself, but also for my peers.
Definitely. So folks, make sure you come out once again live this year in the flesh in person, Forest Hills, Queens, New York City, Conchel International Film Festival. For more information, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. But if you're just listening to this audio-wise, ConchellIFF.com is where you go for more information. And you'll see people like Livingston Steele there at the festival. You could socialize, network, and maybe there's something he may want you to be in or can use your talents for down the road. You never know, but this is what these things are for. Networking, talk, mix, mingle. Maybe you have aspirations of doing what he's doing, and he can maybe give you some advice and help you on that particular road. You never know. Come on out, get involved, and get into it. Thank you very much for taking time out and joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, bro.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, folks, that's it for this particular segment. We got more coming, but for right now, peace, travel safe.